Hi guys, this is Jess, and today I want to talk to you, my fellow expats that are now forced to go back to your home country, and they are not dealing with that very well. So I think I should go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Brazilian, I'm 28, and I have lived in France for 2 years, from 2017 to 2019. And I have had the experience of a lifetime. It was definitely the best 2 years of my life. It was just amazing and a great experience. Culturally, socially, it was just amazing and a time that I would cherish for the rest of my life. When I came back to Brazil, it was definitely not by choice. I tried very, very hard to stay in France. I have sent over 200 resumes and I have applied to jobs time and time again, and I have had to deal with rejection not due to my lack of abilities or my lack of talent, but my lack of European citizenship, which was definitely very, very frustrating. But anyway, when I came back to Brazil, I did not make my peace with the fact that I had to come back to my home country, especially because Brazil is going through a very hard time now. As you know, politically, we are struggling and suffering with this so-called president that we have now. So it was definitely not something that I was looking forward to. And on top of that, I was coming back to live in São Paulo, which is another state, not my original hometown, not the city that I know. So I had a very hard time not only coming back to my home country, but moving to a different city. I cannot say that I'm fully in peace with it, but I'm definitely doing much, much better now. And because I've been talking about this subject with a lot of people that have been through the exchange programs experience or the living abroad experience, and after noticing that many of us struggle with that coming back home experience, I wanted to talk to you and I wanted to create this video to reach out to you guys that are going through this so we can find support in each other, and so you guys know that it's not abnormal to feel weird or even angry to have to get back home. The thing is, I'm sorry, we have some works in the neighborhood. But I think the thing is not neglecting those feelings, but what we do with them. Because if we just feel sadness, we are kind of trapped in the past and we don't do nothing about it. It's just an experience that you had and that you feel it was the best of your life, and you keep reliving those memories. But the thing is, we cannot go back to the past. Yes, you had those moments. Yes, it was maybe the best years of your life. And the thing is, when I came back to Brazil, I kept thinking about those memories and looking at videos and photos that I've taken there. And I had this very strong, oppressive feeling that I have had lived the best years of my life already. And then I kept thinking and wondering, if those were my best years and I truly believed they were, what is next? I'm just gonna go back to working 9 to 5 and longing for the weekend, and then after the weekend longing for vacations, and that's it. This is my life now. I'm back to the same thing that I was before. And that thought consumed me. I was only thinking about that all the time and thinking that definitely the best years, the prime of my life had passed. And I'm only 28, but I was in this very dramatic mindset and very close to the past and thinking, yes, that the best is over and now this is it. This is life now. And so if you are going through that and if you are thinking about that, I just want to let you know that even if you are back to your hometown, even if you are surrounded by people that don't have the same mentality that you now have, even if you are surrounded by family and friends that think that traveling is something you cannot afford and that you have to settle in life, and if they keep trying to fit you into this mold that society has created to us, that we all have to find a job, a steady job, and make a lot of money and get a house and wait for a vacation once a year. And if that's not you, you don't have to do that. You might be back to your hometown, you might be back to that old environment, but you are no longer that person. Everything that you have learned, all the experiences that you have had, everything that all the people that you have met through this time, the languages that you have learned, they are you now. They are as much a part of you as your blood or your bones, and no one can take that away from you. That person that you became might be back to the old place that you were before, but it's no longer the same person, and no one can take that away from you. So find some comfort in that fact, and try not to let yourself be dragged to that old place by these old people. And maybe you will find that being back home is not as bad as you thought. Maybe it's just the time that you need to adjust back, because the same way that you needed some time to adjust to this other city or country that you have lived in, the same way that you had to adjust and adapt to all the cultural and the local differences, it's gonna take some time for you to adjust back home. We have this thing in our minds that we think, but it's home, I lived here my entire life and I should be able to adjust instantly. But it's not, because for a few months or a few years you have called another city, another continent maybe home. So it's a time to readjust, and we are constantly evolving. So it might feel like you have evolved so much and you are like years ahead of the people that you have to live with now, and they are stuck in the past doing the same thing. The politics are the same, the economy is the same, people are still thinking the same way, and you see yourself amongst them and you think like, how is it possible that I'm so far ahead in the future and that they are still living the same way? And again, you're no longer the same person, and you don't have to be. And so try to be okay with the fact that you are back now, and try to give yourself the space to feel all the feels, but not to have them taking over you. Give yourself the time to feel the sadness of being back and not being able to stay in that place. Feel free to feel the anger if you have some, but try to take those feelings and make them into something that is going to work for you. If you really don't want to stay in your home country, if you really don't want to live there, try to come up with a plan. So what are my options? Where do I want to go? What is that I want in life? Do I want to learn another language? Do I want to live in another country? Do I want to go back to the country that I was living before? And if so, come up with a plan, divide it into steps, and create these milestones of things that you can do to get to that point. What I'm saying is, instead of looking back at the memories as something that is gonna drag you down, use them as fuel, not to relive those days, because it's not possible to go back to the past, but to recreate the feeling that you had in that place in time, and to recreate it in the future, and use that to come up with a plan, because it's a much better use of your time and energy than to just spend all day in bed sad because you're no longer there. The second advice is to find projects of your own, things that you like to do, things that give you pleasure and that make you happy. For me, it was arts and getting back to reading. Those things helped me put my mind off of the troubles and of overthinking things, and it just connects me with my creativity, so that helps me a lot. For you, it might be doing sports or doing yoga or therapy, or I don't know, whatever works for you. Just find a passion project and work on that. Something that is gonna make you look forward to the future and not as much as being longing on the past. And so that's it. I just wanted to share this little video with you guys, just so you know you're not alone and that it sucks, but it's gonna pass. I just hope we are all gonna find a way to do something that is gonna make us really find peace and happiness. And if you want to talk about it, just feel free to DM me, or comment here on the video. And that's it. Bye.